Good morning. This is Dr. C.H.S. Fankumar. I am dealing today a topic related to the pharmaceutical engineering, belongs to the second B pharmacy. Today I am going to discuss about the heat transfer. Coming to its definition, heat transfer is a unit process in which heat flows from high temperature zone to the low temperature zone. In such a way, the heat is going to transfer. Such a kind of flow of heat is called as heat transfer. Generally, the heat will flows from its boundaries, from its high temperature zone to the low temperature zone. So this is called as heat transfer process. If heat is not transferred from its boundaries to the external surface, then it is called as adiabatic process. So coming to the applications of heat transfer process. There are various kinds of applications, under which first one is evaporation. Evaporation is one of the heat transfer process in which the liquid is concentrated by taking of the solvent which is present in the liquid. So the final yield is a concentrated liquid out of this evaporation. So this is one of the heat transfer process. Coming to the second one, drying. Drying is also one of the unit operation. Okay, it is like evaporation process to withdraw the solvent which is present in the product. So the final yield of the drying process is a dry solid. So here evaporation as well as drying are appearing similarly, but the end product of both the heat transfer processes are different. The yield process, the yield of evaporation is a concentrated liquid, and the yield product, the final yield of the drying process is dried solids. So in such a way it is going to differ, but in both the processes we are going to withdraw the solvent which is present in the product. Coming to the next one, distillation. Distillation is one of the heating process in which first the liquid is getting vaporized, further the vapor is getting condensed. So vaporization followed by condensation, such a kind of heat process is defined as distillation process. See why we are going to use this distillation process. When mixture of solvents are there, if we wanted to separate them, so we are going to use this distillation process. So there is a certain difference between the distillation process as well as drying process as well as evaporation process. So how all these are going to differ? See, usually evaporation as well as drying, these two are carried below the boiling point of the liquid or solvent which is used or which is going to be withdrawn from the product. But in distillation we are going to withdraw the product at its boiling point. See, when mixture of components are there, one component separates from others at its boiling point only. When a liquid get vaporized, when it reaches to its boiling point. So whenever you are going to heat the contents to its boiling point, by that what happening there, they are getting vaporized and the same is going to be condensed with the help of distillation process. So evaporation as well as drying, in which we are going to withdraw the solvent as vapors below its boiling point. Okay, in the distillation, what we are going to do, we are going to heat the contents at its boiling point and we are going to vaporize them and then we are going to separate them. Coming to the next one, crystallization. So in crystallization, what we are going to do, we are going to concentrate the liquid, by which means the solid is getting precipitated. So the precipitated solid get aggregate and it forms like a crystal. So this particular process is used in synthesis of various kinds of components. We are going to study the recrystallization process. So in recrystallization, the crystallization unit operation is going to be involved to separate the solids from the liquid. That means from a solution consists of solvent as well as solute in it. So the solute is separated as solvent with the heating process. So in such a way. And coming to the next one, sterilization. So what do you mean by sterilization? Sterilization means it is a process by which we are going to free the product from the microorganisms. The microbial free product is called as sterile product. So if you are going to ensure the sterility to the preparation, such a process is called as sterilization. In this also heat process is going to involve. So by heating, moist heating, dry heating, or by radiation, or by any other methods, by heating only, what we are going to do, we are going to kill the microbes which are present in the preparation. That is nothing but sterilization process. So all these are the applications of heat transfer: evaporation, drying, distillation, crystallization, as well as sterilization. These all are the applications of heat transfer process. Coming to the next topic, mechanism of heat transfer. Mechanisms of heat transfer. So there are three mechanisms of heat transfers are there. First one is conduction, and second one is convection, and third one is radiation. So heat transfer from high temperature zone to the low temperature zone, okay, by means of three mechanisms. What are those? These are the three mechanisms: conduction, convection, as well as radiation are the three mechanisms by which heat is going to be transferred. So let us discuss about them individually. That means what do you mean by conduction, what do you mean by convection, as well as what do you mean by radiation. Let us discuss. So first, coming to the first mechanism, that is conduction. If heat transfers from one body to the another body without mixing, okay, then it is called as a conduction process. Say for example, if we are going to boil the water, by means of a container. So we are going to take a stainless steel container and we are going to put the water, and then we are going to put it the water onto the one heating provision. So what happening there, usually the container get heats and then the heat transfer takes place from the container wall to the water. So here what happening there, usually initially the stainless steel molecules get heated. Okay, so when a molecule absorbs the heat energy, then what happens, it will get vibrated, and then what it is going to do, then it is going to transfer the heat to the another molecule, that is nothing but water, and then what happening there, this molecule is getting heated by means of absorption of the heat from the adjacent molecule, and then it is getting vibrated such that all the water molecules will absorb the heat in such a path. So here what happening there is no mixing of the molecules, but because of vibration of molecules after absorbing the heat transfer is going to happen. Such a process is called as conduction. Such a process is called as conduction. Coming to the second one, convection. See, in convection, mixing of molecules involves in heat transfer process. For example, if you are going to heat the water, when water is getting heated by means of water heater, then what happens, usually whatever the molecules which are water molecules which are adjacent to the water heater is getting heated, and then after absorbing of the heat, they will become less denser, and what happens, they will buoyance onto the surface of the water. So the bulk molecule, that means if you place a heating material or heating equipmentation into the water, it sinks. So what happens, the underneath water, that is nothing but whatever the bulk of the water, the molecules get heated by means of this heating element. The molecule will get absorb the heat and it will becomes less denser and it will get buoyance. So in such a way, what happens, getting absorbed the heat from the heating element and becoming less denser, and it is buoyancing, means there is movement of particles is going to happen. So this movement of particles leads to mixing of the molecules of the surface of the water as well as bulk of the water. This leads to transfer of heat from the underneath layers to the upper layers. In such a way, what happens, all the water molecules will get heated by means of the same. Initially, if you put your hand into the water, upper surfaces doesn't have heat, but lower surfaces are having the heat. Okay, or different layers are with different heat content, but after elapse of some time, all the layers are having the same heat. Why? Because these are called as movement of particles are called as conventional currents. Conventional current. Okay, because of movement of these particles leads to heat all the water molecules present in a container. In such a way, all the water get heated by means of the same. So this is called as convection. See, again this is two types. What is that? Natural convection as well as second one, forced convection. So here, if you are going to heat the water and the movement of the molecules is going to happen, okay, that is called as natural process. Otherwise, if you are going to agitate the water by means of a stirrer or any other device, okay, then what happens? The conventional currents are going to be formed artificially with the mixing. That's why it is called as what? It is called as forced convection. So, either by means of natural convention or by means of forced convection, the heat transfer is going to occur. So, this is about convention. Okay, coming to the next one. Radiation. Transfer of heat as electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic waves into the space is called as radiation. So, for this example is reaching of sunlight heat to the earth. Otherwise, heating of components through the microwaves. Where radiation energy is used to heat transfer. Okay, in such a way what we are going to do? By means of these three mechanisms, by means of conduction, convection as well as radiation, the heat transfer process is going to occur. In next class, let us see about them individually along with the equations and all. Thank you.